The Galactic Military Academy's combat simulation chamber hummed with energy as Cadet Marcus Chen adjusted his protective gear. Around him, his alien classmates whispered in their native tongues. Clicks, chirps, and harmonics that his universal translator couldn't quite parse when spoken in hushed tones. He didn't need translation to understand their meaning. The way their optical sensors tracked his movements, the subtle positioning of their bodies away from him, it all spoke the same language. Skepticism. Today's exercise will test your combat reflexes under extreme conditions, announced Instructor Zekthor, her forearms gesturing at the holographic display. The Vorthax chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the chamber's artificial lighting. You will face projectiles traveling at velocities up to 12% the speed of light. Survival depends on predictive algorithms, enhanced neural processing, and most importantly, proper cybernetic augmentation. Marcus felt the familiar weight of disappointment settle in his chest. 3 months at the academy, and every lesson seemed designed to remind him of humanity's shortcomings. While his Kralian classmates possessed natural electromagnetic field detection, and the Zephyrians could process temporal data streams in real time, humans brought nothing but their stubborn insistence on natural abilities. Cadet Vexini, a Kralian with sensor stalks that constantly twitched with electromagnetic readings, turned her triangular head toward Marcus. "Perhaps the human should observe today," she suggested, her translator rendering her bioelectric speech into flat clinical words. "The plasma bolts in this simulation are not mere training rounds. Even with our enhanced reflexes, the danger is considerable." "The human stays," Instructor Zekthor declared, though her tone carried the weight of someone expecting inevitable failure. "The Academy's charter is clear. All species receive equal training opportunities regardless of biological limitations." The chamber reconfigured itself, walls shifting into a complex maze of obstacles, cover points, and energy barriers. 12 cadets took their positions, 11 with various forms of technological enhancement humming against their bodies, and one human with nothing but standard-issue armor and his grandfather's wristwatch, a mechanical anachronism he wore for luck. The simulation began. Plasma bolts erupted from hidden emitters, trails of superheated gas screaming through the air at impossible speeds. Marcus watched his classmates respond with machine-like precision. Vexini's electromagnetic senses allowing her to predict bolt trajectories microseconds before they manifested, while Cadet Thrum's cybernetic implants calculated intercept vectors with mathematical perfection. Marcus dove behind a barrier, feeling the heat wash over his position as a plasma bolt evaporated the obstacle's edge. His heart hammered against his ribs, not from fear but from something deeper, something his species had carried from their homeworld's ancient savannas and modern battlefields alike. The other cadets moved with calculated efficiency, but Marcus moved with something else entirely. Where they relied on predictive algorithms, he trusted pattern recognition honed by millions of years of persistence hunting. Where they depended on enhanced processing speed, he used intuition sharpened by generations of warriors who had faced impossible odds and survived. A plasma bolt screamed toward Cadet Zigzara, the young Zephyrian's temporal processors overloaded by the simulation's complexity. Time seemed to crystallize around Marcus as his nervous system, evolved for tracking prey across vast distances and split-second life-or-death decisions, shifted into a state his species simply called the zone. He moved, not with the mechanical precision of enhanced reflexes, but with the fluid grace of a predator whose ancestors had turned raw instinct into an art form. His hand shot out, fingers closing around something that shouldn't have been possible to catch, a bolt of plasma traveling at 36 million meters per second. The chamber fell silent. Marcus stood there, his bare hand wrapped around a lance of contained stellar fire, feeling its heat but not its burn. The plasma bolt writhed in his grip like a living thing, its energy field somehow harmonizing with his bioelectric nervous system instead of incinerating him. "Impossible," whispered Instructor Zekthor, her forearms frozen in mid-gesture. Vexini's sensor stalks went rigid. The electromagnetic readings, they're off the scale, but not from technology. From him. Marcus looked at the plasma bolt in his hand, understanding flooding through him. Human reflexes weren't slow, they were different. While other species had evolved in environments where split-second survival meant processing known threats quickly, humans had evolved as persistence hunters and tool users. developing neural pathways that could adapt to completely novel situations in real time. The plasma bolt wasn't just energy, it was a system, and systems could be understood, adapted to, even controlled by a mind that had evolved to turn the impossible into routine. He gently released the bolt, watching it dissipate harmlessly into the chamber's energy recycling system. How? Cadet Thrum's mechanical voice carried a note of awe that his species rarely expressed. Marcus shrugged, the gesture somehow containing multitudes. You were all trying to avoid it or deflect it. I just caught it. But the calculations alone, Vexini began. I didn't calculate, Marcus interrupted. I just reacted. Sometimes the best way to handle something impossible is to not think about why it should be. Impossible. Instructor Zekthor's mandibles clicked in. What Marcus had learned was the Vorthak, equivalent of deep thought. Cadet Chen, report to advanced combat training tomorrow. It appears we have significantly underestimated human potential. As the other cadets filed out, chattering excitedly in a dozen languages, Marcus remained in the chamber for a moment longer. His grandfather's watch ticked steadily against his wrist, marking time with the same mechanical precision it had used to measure his grandfather's heartbeat through 3 wars. Some things, Marcus reflected, didn't need enhancement. Some things just needed the right moment to shine. The Academy would never laugh at human reflexes again. Outside the chamber, word was already spreading through the station's communication networks. A human had caught a plasma bolt mid-flight. Impossible had become inevitable, and the galaxy was about to learn what humanity had always known. Sometimes the most powerful weapon wasn't technology or enhancement, but the simple, stubborn refusal to accept that something couldn't be done. The age of underestimating humanity was over.